Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, let's get ready for my WWE Extreme Rules recap. So let's start off first with the kickoff show. We had Dolph Ziggler, the new pre-show stopper, wrestling Baron Corbin. It was a rematch from last month's Payback where they also were on the kickoff show. Again, I don't know what Dolph Ziggler did to deserve to be on these kickoff shows and not getting a main event level push that he should have gotten a couple years ago. I don't know what's going on with Ziggler. I don't know why he keeps getting involved and having to do jobs for people. But it was his turn. He had to do the job for Baron Corbin. There was no way they were going to let Baron Corbin lose again. They couldn't. It would kill Corbin's momentum. So like I said on my predictions video, I did pick Corbin for that reason. Corbin did go over. Ziggler made him look like a beast, oversold everything, but that's what Ziggler does great. He sells. Again, don't know what they're doing with Ziggler. He seems to be very lost in the shuffle. And with all these releases coming and everything, and wrestlers like Cody Rhodes and Ryback and other people asking for their release, I really am hoping that Ziggler's not the next one to ask for his release, because he is a super talent that should be used, should be in the Intercontinental title picture or the world title picture, but he's not. So we get the Corbin win. Now let's see what they do next with Corbin, where he's going to move on after the Ziggler feud. Then we get into the actual show and we open up with the boring Usos versus The Club, which is by far the worst name for a team in sports entertainment history. It's a very lazy name. You would think that the WWE creative can come up with something better, but then again, it is the WWE creative. So we get the Usos, who were not over. The New Jersey crowd was hot this whole night. They were very vocal, which is awesome. Again, I'm from Long Island, right here in New York. So New Jersey is my neighboring state, and I was proud to see that a neighboring state in New Jersey were vocal and didn't just sit on their hands and really didn't do much. They were very vocal in a lot of these matches. They booed the Usos very heavily. But the Usos did a good job at selling for Gallows and Anderson, which to me seemed like it was 3 or 4 weeks too late. But Gallows and Anderson did get the win, and they looked very good and very impressive. The Usos sold very well for them, took some decent spots and bumps. They went over, the club went over. Curious to see what they do now with the club moving forward with some of these people returning like Randy Orton and Seth Rollins, Bray Wyatt, and John Cena. So it's curious to see where some of these guys are going to start falling on the pecking order of the WWE landscape. So the club went over the Usos. That was another one that I was predicting. So to start off the night, I was 2-0 and I was feeling really good. Let's get into the next match. It was for the United States Championship, and it was Rusev versus the champion Kalisto. First off, I don't know if this is a real true build again for Rusev, or if they're just transitioning him for someone making their return. But Rusev looked very strong in this whole program and looked really strong tonight. Kalisto sold like just a crazy man. Took a sick bump on the apron. And again, like I've said, I trained in the early 2000s for a full year out on Long Island. That apron, guys, if you don't know, is very stiff. It is the stiffest part of the mat. Obviously, the middle has the most give. And then as you get further out to the apron, it gets stiffer and stiffer. And he took a sick bump from the top turnbuckle right onto the apron, which was just looked painful. Then the Accolade just looked so sick when he put it on Kalisto and was able to bend him all the way back. And Rusev wins the title after Kalisto taps, within being in that Accolade in a couple seconds, which was awesome also because it was a very quick tap, showing that it was very painful. So they're building Rusev up. But again, I think they missed the boat a couple years ago when they killed the momentum of Rusev to John Cena. And now I'm wondering, will this just be a transition for the return in John Cena? I hope not. I hope they really build up Rusev and Lana. But we know that they've had a lot of heat, both of them behind stage. Don't know if that's passed yet. We shall see. I think Cena returns to Raw tonight, either tonight or next week, I don't remember. But if he just comes in and wins the US title right away, or they just put him in the next pay-per-view at Money in the Bank, and he wins it, then that is a shame, and don't know what they're going to do with Rusev next. But I did pick Rusev, so now I'm 3-0, feeling good. Then we get into the New Day versus the Vaudevillains for the WWE Tag Team Championships. and the New Day retain. And I'm all right with that. I had picked the Vaudevillains in my prediction video, and I really only did that because I thought maybe they were going to go for like try to do a shock factor and then have the New Day win them back. But the New Day won. I'm fine with that. Totally cool. I love the New Day. So as you can see right back there, I got my Booty-O's cereal right back there on the top shelf. So I'm all cool with the New Day winning. That was awesome. It was a really good match. Entertaining. Vaudevillains looked good. Big E did that crazy spear that he does through the rope, which is very scary looking when he does it. I fear for him mainly in that move because he takes a brunt of that bump going head first outside to the ring. And I just, hope that doesn't come back to bite him in the ass one day. But I'm wondering what they're going to do with the New Day next, because the New Day have almost held the titles for almost a year, and I don't think the New Day need the belts because they are so super over right now. They're probably the hottest faction, the hottest thing going in the WWE right now, so I don't think they necessarily need those WWE Tag Team titles. There's a couple teams out there that probably do need that title to help elevate them to the next level, and one of those groups I think is the Club. And I'd love to see if Gallows and Anderson can now step up, if they would put them in a program with the New Day, because Gallows and Anderson I think could be maybe one of the only teams that can take those titles off the New Day, and they would transfer some heat to them, make them more of a heelish kind of faction, and really elevate the Club, since they are relatively new, to the new level. So I'm wondering if that's who they're going to work a new program with. Will they go another month with the Vaudevillains? What's going on with the Dudley Boys? You've seen them a little bit more on TV with Cass. So I'm curious to see what they do with the WWE Tag Team titles. I would like to see the Club get a shot next. Then let's get into, I think, it was definitely the match of the night, and this could possibly be the match of the year. It was the Fatal 4-Way for the Intercontinental title. The Miz versus Zayn versus Owens versus Cesaro. These guys are awesome workhorses. They just lit the place on fire. The crowd was so into it. I was into it at home. So awesome. I mean, this is awesome chants and don't stop fighting and all types of chants going on, and it was fantastic. Really, really great match. Everybody hit their spots. Perfect timing, perfect wrestling. This is what the Intercontinental title used to be, and this is what the Intercontinental title should be. It's always been, that was the belt that the real wrestlers of the WWE were going for. Randy Macho Man Savage, Ricky Steamboat, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart. The list goes on, and I'm glad to see that the real backbone of the WWE, the real workhorses of the WWE, are the ones getting the opportunity to shine in these matches and being able to hold the title. Now, in my prediction video, I went with Sami Zayn. I went a little bit out of the box with the lesser person that's been on the roster. I just thought maybe it would be an upset kind of thing, but I really didn't care on whoever won. I thought it was going to be a smart move, and I was actually surprised that they let The Miz retain. Not because I don't think he deserves it. I just thought they were going to move it to someone else because it was a perfect opportunity to not even have The Miz be pinned, and then you could play that again, just like Owens has been doing. But what I found great about it is that they went with The Miz, and that is great because The Miz is a true heel. He knows how to work as well. He is a very underrated wrestler. He is very good. He's very entertaining, and he knows how to play the heel role perfectly, which is a thing that the WWE is kind of trying to gear away from, of faces and heels, and it's stupid because you need faces and heels. Just like movies, you need heroes and villains, and The Miz is the perfect heel. And with Maurice by his side, he's only elevated to another level, and I think keeping the belt on him is great because now they can figure out who will be that next opponent for him one-on-one. Do they move Owens to the next level, maybe in the WWE title picture, or what do they do with Zayn? Does Zayn now step back a little bit and now start paying some of his dues to get to that next level? What do they do with Cesaro? Will they move Cesaro and Miz into a one-on-one type of deal? Really curious to see what they do on Raw tonight, or will they keep it the same? Hopefully not. I'm hoping they mix it up a little bit. Definitely match of the night. Could be a possible match of the year. Great match. Definitely the best match of the night. If you haven't seen the pay-per-view and you want to just watch one match, go watch the Fatal 4-Way for the Intercontinental title. Then we move into a very odd area of the show. Now we get into where I feel this is where the show started to drop back and drop down very drastically. We get into the, Ambrose Asylum, what they were calling it. Jericho versus Ambrose. Okay, let's get into it. The match reminded me a lot of those, late 90s, early 2000s gimmick matches of the WCW days, when they were just throwing everything at the wall and nothing was sticking, and they ended up going basically bankrupt and having to sell to the WWE. To me, this match was very slow. I found it very boring, very predictable, very corny. You just had this great 5-star match of the year candidate. You had these awesome, talented workers, and then you get into a match where then you see Dean Ambrose with a mop mopping Chris Jericho's face. That's stupid. That's gimmicky. That's kid stuff, and that's what I hate so much. The match itself was very slow. I wasn't into it, and a lot of people are praising like the top of the cell move that Ambrose did. All Ambrose did was his normal, usual elbow drop, just higher level. It's the same move. You remember back in the day when wrestlers used to go to the top rope and they would pull something new out all of a sudden, like Brock Lesnar back when he fought Kurt Angle at WrestleMania? Remember, this big dude goes to the top rope and then he tries to do this shooting star press. Granted, almost broke his neck, but he still pulled it off, and you were just like in amazement of this dude. Why couldn't Ambrose have done so? Even if he did I don't know, flying drop kick or body press would have been different than that stupid standing elbow that he does, and he's only going to hurt somebody one day because it's a very awkward looking move. Then, I'm getting really tired of hearing on the internet of other people reviewing this and giving their opinions. To compare that spot with the thumbtacks and saying, it reminded me of the old ECW days. Are you kidding me? Did any of you actually watch ECW back in the day? This match was nothing like ECW. ECW was hardcore awesomeness. This was painful to watch. And, whenever I see thumbtacks in the WWE ring, I'm sorry, I don't care if I'm going to be called out on this or called old school or whatever, or, get with the times, whatever. But I'm sorry, for the newer generation, go watch King of the Ring, Undertaker. I believe it was King of the Ring in the 90s. I don't remember what year. Undertaker versus Mankind, Mick Foley in a Hell in a Cell match. Talk about thumbtacks. The guy got thrown off a cage, through a cage, smacked with chairs, smacked with steel steps, went into thumbtacks, and then took I believe it was a tombstone pile driver, right? He did take that at the end. That was hardcore. That was like ECW. Not that crap you watched last night. This is what the WWE has done. It has dumbed down the audience so much that when you see a little spot like that, you're like, ooh, oh my God, ECW! No, that is not like ECW. That is not even like the Attitude Era of the WWE. That's a stepping stone. They're trying to get somewhere. They're trying to get there. It looks like it. It looks like they're trying to get themselves out of this PG era and move more maybe into a PG-13. Will they ever go back to like the full Attitude Era or be like ECW fully? No. But you can see them trying to get out of it, but that was not it. Don't compare that to that. It was a step in the right direction, but it was only the final spot. The rest of that match was pure dog. I was surprised that Jericho did the job 2 months in a row to Ambrose. That was shocking. Anyway, next up we get to the women's title match, and we get Natalya versus Charlotte. Ric Flair is banned from the ring. Okay match. Charlotte needs to learn to sell. Everybody's been saying that forever. The match was okay. Wasn't bad. I thought it was going to be really more of a show stealer, but it wasn't. And then again, second month in a row, we get a shitty, stupid ending. Ric Flair's music hits. Everybody's like, oh my God, is it Flair? No, it ends up being Dana Brooke dressed as Ric Flair. Stupid. And I love that they have this revolution to the women's division, but every match has to end stupidly. How about you let the women go out there? And what is going on with Sasha Banks? Where is she? What's going on with Becky Lynch? Like, who did she piss off in the back that she's stuck doing commentary? Same thing as Paige. These are some super talented women, and they're not even on the card. So stupid. So Charlotte retains. It was just a stupid match, dumbass ending, just like last month. I don't know. What a great way to start the new women's revolution. So we get to the main event. It's Extreme Rules, and again, I've been watching wrestling since I was 12 years old, 1992. I just dated myself. But I really still don't understand what the difference is between a no disqualification match and an Extreme Rules match. Can someone please explain that to me? What is the difference? There is none. I don't see a difference between a no DQ and Extreme Rules. Just Extreme Rules sounds cooler than a no DQ. So we get Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles. So AJ comes out, huge pop. Roman comes out, huge boos. Then you could tell they kind of muted it a little. They lowered that volume a little bit. But Reigns was getting no love whatsoever from the New Jersey crowd, nor does he deserve it. I know people saying the match was very entertaining, but it was entertaining because of AJ Styles. Roman Reigns cannot wrestle a match, so they have to continue to put him in these matches that have to use a lot of outside interference or be outside of the ring a lot, where he could like spear through walls or use tables. I would love to see Roman Reigns in the ring in an entire match using an actual wrestling hold, and it will not happen because he does not know how to wrestle, and he does not deserve to be the WWE champion, let alone a 3-time champion. Meanwhile, Damian Sandow, Cody Rhodes, Wade Barrett would just let go or ask for their release. This is what's wrong with the WWE. They want to keep forcing Reigns down our throat, and they got what they want. He was doing sick bump after sick bump with AJ, backflipped him through a table, powerbomb through a table, and every time he did this, the crowd got louder and louder, chanting, "You still suck," or "You still can't wrestle." That's not what you want from your champion. The crowd hates him, and they want to play this thing like, oh, doesn't matter if you love him or hate him, but he still gets passion. No, people just hate him. There is no passion. People just hate him. Simple as that. Kids and women like him. Sound familiar? Do, 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 do. Sounds very familiar. So anyway, it was a pretty okay match just because Styles really made it well. But again, the club come out, Usos come out, Usos got booed like crazy. The club came out, they got there, interfered, whatever. Styles hits two Styles clashes, one on a chair, still got the pinfall. Then he takes the chair and just destroys Roman Reigns, destroys the Usos. I mean, he beat the living out of Roman Reigns with a chair. Had to give him at least 6 or 7 chair shots. Then he goes up for the flying forearm. Reigns comes up, hits him with the spear, gets the pin, 1, 2, 3. What? I'm so sick and tired of Roman Reigns no-selling chair shots. There was a match back in the day. I don't remember the date. I don't remember the show. But it was, I don't know, these 2 wrestlers that you might have heard of. One was called Stone Cold Steve Austin. The other one was this other guy. I think he's pretty famous. The Rock. They fought once, and I remember Steve Austin just destroyed The Rock with a chair, pinned him, and won the match. So Stone Cold Steve Austin beats the living crap out of The Rock, the biggest superstar probably ever in the world of wrestling, and got the pin. Wow. Look at that. I remember another time The Rock just destroyed Mankind with a chair, and Mankind lost the match. Wow. But AJ Styles hits his finishing move twice, once on a chair, and then bashes him repeatedly with a chair, but then he loses to a spear. That's WWE booking, folks. Hopefully it gets better. The show itself was okay. If I had to rate it out of 10, I'm giving it a 5. I thought the Intercontinental title match was the best match of the night. Tag team titles match was pretty decent. Rusev Kalisto was fun to watch. Usos and the club didn't care about. I'm just glad that the club won because I like the club. Don't care. I could care less about the Usos, and I said that forever. The pre-show kickoff match was okay. Jericho Ambrose I thought was boring and predictable. Natalya and Charlotte, horrible ending. And thank God for AJ Styles, because if it wasn't for Styles, I don't know what they'd be doing with Roman Reigns right now, because Roman Reigns sucks. So I'm going to give the show a 5. Wasn't the biggest fan. I thought after that Intercontinental match, it just went down drastically. Glad that the crowd was into it, though. Was very vocal, and I can't wait to see what happens on Raw tonight. And nothing says like having a bunch of wrestlers out with injuries like a smart move, like having a pay-per-view called Extreme Rules. Let me know what you thought. Leave your comments below. Remember to like and share this video. Hit up that subscribe button. Make sure you subscribe to our channel for more WWE reviews and stuff like this. And you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Everyday Geek TV. Thanks, guys. Adios. Oh, and I almost forgot. The biggest moment of the main event, though, was when Seth Rollins returned, which was awesome. I'm a huge Seth Rollins mark. Always have been. Cannot wait for him to come back. He pedigrees Roman Reigns, stands there with the title. That was really, to get him back in the picture, but also to send the crowd home happy, because I know the crowd was going to be pissed to high hell, with Roman Reigns winning. So they send Rollins out there. He hits the pedigree. Crowd goes home somewhat happy, but I'm really glad to see Rollins back.